Hi, I'm Nikki. Welcome to my channel where we get nerdy. So, I know I said I was on a book buying ban, but that it didn't count for gifted books. With that being said, I have 3 books. All by the same author. And the author is a friend of my mom's. Well, technically a coworker, but we'll say a friend. He is a main author, which we support local authors. And I bought these all at an indie bookstore. So we support indie bookstores too. And I honestly don't know how these books sound amazing, but I'm also nervous. So, the first one that I want to talk about is called Evergreen by Thomas J. Torrington. And all of these books are autographed. We found these at the bookstore already, and then my mom's like, hey, that's Tom that I work with. I was like, oh, that's awesome. She's like, I'm gonna buy them all. I'm like, but Mom, you don't read. She's like, nope, but you do, so you can have them. That's my mom. So, this book is about synopsis. For Bud Marshall, growing up in a rural Maine town would be challenging enough if it weren't for the fact that fate dealt him a difficult hand to begin with. Left to be raised by his grandparents, Bud struggles to discover himself as he pursues the dream of realizing greatness in his own life. Fortunately for Bud, he has help on his journey of discovery from the girl next door. Aww, soft boy. Teresa Peterson, a precocious youth, 1 year his junior, both acts to guide and confound Bud's decisions. But sometimes the ones we are closest to are the ones we hurt the most. A profoundly human story about family, friendship, and love, in which Bud learns as he matures that it is taking responsibility for his own life and making choices and conscious awareness of who he is that will shape his destiny. Can he overcome his past mistakes and build a real foundation for his future? I love this idea and this concept. It's a thick boy with fairly small writing. How thick is it? 444 pages. I have a lot of prompts for my K-pop idols, that some of them are about self-discovery and whatnot. So I figured it'd be fantastic. So there's Evergreen. Next, we have The Bear by Thomas J. Torrington, which I don't know if you can tell on the cover. We have a girl, a bear, a cabin in the woods, and then up at the top, we have the constellation that, if I remember correctly, is a bear. Like, I'm probably wrong, but I said if being the key word. Again, we are signed. Oh, turn this way. Okay. So it is a dark psychological epic. And it's chunky too. Let's see. 431 pages. Because why not? Let's have all kinds of pages. The synopsis says, her father was already dead. She only stopped running to catch her breath when she heard gunshots ring out from the cabin that she'd just escaped. Her desperate and foolish hope was that the sound meant her uncle, and not her mother, was dead. Turning back from where she stood in the northern Maine woods, she came face to face with a black bear. It's safe to say life for Emma Osborne would never be the same. an emotional and psychological journey in which Emma has to face the darkness within herself, as well as try to understand that of those who ruined her life. But understanding evil means confronting things darker and more sinister than Emma could have imagined. Which, oh my God. I read this. I read the synopsis after my mom bought it, and holy poo. I'm like, damn, it's going to be intense. I already know it's going to be intense, and I cannot wait to read it. I cannot wait until it ends up on Tabrinco or some other reading thing I've got going, which at the end of this video, I'll update on that. At the end of talking about these books, there's an update. Lastly, we have Thunder Snow by Thomas J. Torrington. Again, we are signed, if I can get it in this thing. This one is much smaller, and it's pretty floppy. Floppy paperbacks are the best paperbacks. We got only 303 pages. Not bad. Okay. So, when 28-year-old Brody Chase hears that the biggest nor'easter snowstorm of the season is set to hit his home state of Maine, the thought of untracked powder ski runs down the side of a mountain is just too great to pass up. He hatches a plan to camp out on top of an abandoned ski resort, ride out the storm, and have hundreds of acres of fresh, unskied snow all to himself. What he learns is that nature is unpredictable and doesn't care about even the best laid plans for mere mortals. That, and he should have told someone reliable where he was going. Can he survive the storm and find his way down the mountain? A thrilling, fast-paced story that will leave you wondering if you could survive the thunder snow. Sometimes in order to live, you have to risk dying. So, I don't know if you know what a nor'easter is, but a nor'easter is if hurricanes were made of snow. Basically, snow, ice, sleet, freezing rain meets hurricane. That's a nor'easter. So it's really, really unsafe to be outside in a nor'easter, and it's pretty fucking dumb. Excuse my language. In my opinion. But this sounds really good. There's another Maine book written by, obviously, a Maine author that I'm going to end up reading at some point on this channel called Lost on a Mountain in Maine. And it is about a man named Don Fendler. He was, I want to say, like around 9 years old, and his family went hiking up Mount Katahdin, and he got separated from his family and spent like 9 days lost. And it's his story. I'm pretty damn sure every kid in the state of Maine is made to read that story in 4th grade, approximately. But it's a great book. I love that book. I'm going to reread it at some point when I can fit it in. So, update. I know we are doing Tabrinco and Bookopoly-thon in the month of September, but I thought it would be a good idea to add on Magical Readathon from G over at Book Roast. So, Magical Readathon is D&D meets a readathon. You make a character, you have prompts to go through a quest. Later on, there's going to be like choices based off from dice rolls. She went all out in creating this. Like, holy Hannah. Kudos to you, G. Your level of creativity is astounding. So, one moment, and I will grab my reading journal, and I can explain what's going on. All right, so, Readathon. Magical Readathon. I've already got it in my... which the character creation ones do not need to be finished in the month of September. They have to be finished by April of next year. So we're talking about a big, long readathon, okay? This is a month, like several month readathon. So for character creation, your background. Are you from the wild or are you from a city? I picked a wildling, so I'm from the wild. Read a book largely set outside in the forest, largely set in a forest or outside. So for that, I picked Endling The Last by Catherine Applegate. This is a middle grade. It is my son's book. He just finished the second book in the series and said, "Mom, you have to read it." All I know is Bix, this dog-looking thing, is called a Dearney, and then this little foxy-looking thing is Tobble, and they are a Wobok. Bix is led to believe she is the last of her kind, and Bix has the chance to save her kind and the last hope for every creature in the world. So, it's the chosen one trope, but with talking animals. So, okay. Next, our province. So, where we're from. I picked Etheria, which the prompt for that is read a book that features fae or elven characters. So, I had to Google what is considered fae. Because I don't know. I'm bad at it. And I saw that goblins are considered fae. So we are going to read Vicious Spirits by Kat Cho, which we know this is the second book in the duology for Wicked Fox. And that there's a dokebi in this book, which a dokebi is a goblin in Korean lore. So, it has a fae character. We're using it. And then lastly, my heritage. So I chose an earthling. I'm an earthling. So basically an earthbender. Which is to read a book with elemental magic or an element word in the title. I'm stretching this, okay? Our elements are fire, water, air, and earth. Snow is the crystallized form of water, right? Like, it is a state of matter of water. So, we're using this. I know it's a stretch, but it's all I got. Like, I could have read Fire with Fire, but that's a chonker, and I wasn't feeling it. This is nice and short, and I was feeling it. So, that's for the character creation. So, and I have until April to read them. For the month of September, I only have to read 2 of like 7 prompts to move on to the next piece, which I have 4 books picked out just in case I wasn't in a reading mood for some of them. So, we have The Novice Path, which is read a book with a map, and I have Shadow and Bone, which I'm already supposed to read this month, so win there. Ashorn Tree, a book that keeps tempting you. Trying to reach behind me and grab the books, but it's not working. Oops, I just knocked my dice for it to break up. Night Spinner by Addie Thorley. Again, we're supposed to read it already this month, so it's not like we're adding anything. The Mist of Solitude, read a standalone, which I don't have it handy because I finished reading it when I was sitting in the car with my kids at the bus stop. But that was Titanic by Colonel Archibald Gracie. And then lastly, my other one I have picked out for my mood, Tower of Rumination. Read a 5-star prediction. Yet again, one that's already on the TBR for this month. So, like, technically, I will have all these 4 prompts done. So, and I didn't add any books. With that, so that's that. That's that announcement. Next announcement. The month of October is up in the air on if I'm going to do Tabrinco or not. Because Spoopyhol, well, Spoops from Spoopyhol on YouTube, is doing a Spoopathon, which is a Halloween-y readathon. And I really want to partake in it, especially after I heard that there's teams and points involved, and I'm a really competitive person, so yeah, I've already got it planned out, what books and everything. So I'm up in the air on if I am going to still play Tabrinco, because I have like quite a few books picked out. 1, 2, 3, 4. Only 4? I could have sworn there were more. Hold on. Okay, so I have 4 books picked out, which the last few months I've been reading upwards of 6 books. So I'm debating on doing 2 drops into Brinko, or after we complete our quest through the haunted house and Spoops, we can go back and do it again and get more points. So I'm debating on going back, doing it again, and get more points. Because why not? Apparently want to punish myself. And if we do, I'm going to be rereading something, because the second book is coming out in paperback on the 21st. And I want to reread the first book before I get to the second book, even though I read this first book not that long ago, and it is Gideon the Ninth. I know. You're probably tired of hearing about this book. Just like you're tired of hearing about Daughter of the Siren Queen, Daughter of the Pirate King, Witchlands, Stalking Jack the Ripper. I'm sure you're tired of hearing about this book, but it is so good. Oh my gosh. The second book is getting printed into paperback on the 21st, and it's called Harrow the Ninth, and I'm so excited. I pre-ordered it back in June or July when I finished this. So, I am so ready for lesbian necromancers in space again. I ended up creating a D&D character based off from Harrow. That is a necromancer. So, if that tells you anything about how I feel. Down below, I will link Magical Readathon and Spoopathon in case you want to partake. So yeah, that's what we got. Let me know in the comments below if you think I should do Tabrinco and add some books to make it a very interesting month, or if I should call it at that. Tell me what you think. So, until next time, remember, you are loved and you are valid.